Hi Gemini, welcome to your May 2019 Astrology 33 reading. We have a Celtic cross spread and a lot of cards came out for you guys. Capricorn had a lot yesterday and I thought that was a lot, but looks like you guys have even more. So let's just get started with it. But yeah, going through the main spread, you guys got three cards here, I believe. We have the Hierophant, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. So the first thing that came to mind with this combination for me was the fact that, the Hierophant being the major arcana card for Taurus. Obviously, we've just entered Taurus season at the time I'm recording this, so you have that at play. And then the next thing I looked at was, okay, this is actually the court card for Capricorn, and then this is the court card for Cancer. So first thing went through my mind was, okay, what's going on with those two signs right now? There's a lot going on in Capricorn. We have Pluto in that sign, we have Saturn in that sign, and the South Node. And for a pretty good chunk of May, Saturn's going to be conjunct the South Node. And then we have the North Node opposite that in Cancer. So that's what I was thinking about, and that's your second and eighth house. So, this could be you're reevaluating the way you view finances, and maybe just resources in general. You could be doing a lot of reevaluating of that area of life, especially because another layer to that, beyond the North Node, South Node stuff that I just mentioned, is also the fact that Taurus energy is in your 12th house, which, that could be a lot of internal thinking, reevaluating how you might get in your own way around certain things. And then we have the fact that, we're going to have some Mercury moving into the sign of Taurus, and then Venus moving into the sign of Taurus. So, these aren't technically Mercury and Venus cards, but the way I view that is, it could be reflecting on how you think about finances and then also romance. So, you could also just be reevaluating those areas of life too. You did just have a full moon in your fifth house, and it was a pretty potent one, so that could have you reevaluating things in that area of life as well. But yeah, these are pretty major cards, and then of course, to break it down to more mundane stuff, it's possible we could be dealing with a Taurus. This technically would be a Capricorn, but it could also be any earth sign, so this could just be reiterating that you're dealing with a Taurus, and possibly a Cancer, or any other water sign for that matter. Could actually be someone with all three of these placements in their chart as well. In the challenger obstacle position, we have three cards here too. So you get what I'm starting to see what I'm saying now about you guys got a lot of cards. Wheel of Fortune, the Page of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. So, with this as the challenger obstacle, first thing that came to my mind looking at this is the fact that Jupiter is actually going retrograde right now in your opposite sign. So, with that being an obstacle, right? So maybe you were making forward progress and maybe now it's slowed a bit and you're having to reevaluate. And that could be exactly why those energies are at play, because once again, what do we have? We have Pentacle energy with Cup energy. So what this could be saying is, now with that retrograde going on in Jupiter, you're again reevaluating finances and possibly even love. But what I would say is I'm starting to get more of a vibe that either your focus is going to shift from finance toward romance, because we had Pentacles then Cups over there, and same thing here, Pentacles then Cups. But I'm more getting a vibe that the Pentacles are a bit stronger for you this month. So I feel like you're more focused on the financial side of things than the romantic. The reason why I say that is, to me, an Ace and a Page energy are very similar. But the primary difference would be, if you look at the aces, there's usually a hand, and it looks like it's coming out of the clouds. So the way I view that is it's more like it's an idea. It's not necessarily something that's actually playing out. It's just, this is a thought that you have regarding something, whereas with the pages we actually see a person present with the element. So that's my main feeling, is that I feel like you might just have more of a focus on finances than romance right now. But it definitely seems like they're both on the table, without a doubt. No pun intended there. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Six of Wands. So, this is a card of victory, of course. This is actually a Leo card, represents the middle 10 degrees of Leo. Um, but, what I say to people is sometimes this could just be as simple as, especially for those of you with May birthdays, as we get towards the end of May, you early born Geminis, this could be as simple as people celebrating your birthday. Around your birthday, people you might not have heard from for a while, they'll all wish you a happy birthday, right? Maybe you all go out together as friends, things along those lines. So it doesn't have to be some major achievement, but it can actually point to that as well. We'll get more of a feel for the context on that regarding, what this could be about as we go through it. But, this could even just represent, again, the sun moving into Gemini as we get to towards the end of May, and maybe that re-energizes you in some way. In the past position, we have two cards here. We have the Knight of Cups, and we have the Tower. So, the first thing that comes, well, a couple things comes to my mind with these two cards, actually. One is this could be saying that some of you might have had an abrupt ending during the time of Pisces, which, we did have Mercury going retrograde in Pisces, and that was causing a lot of confusion. At one point, it was squaring, actually, it squared it a couple different times, but you had Mercury squaring Jupiter in your opposite sign, and then it was conjunct Neptune as well, and this is your 10th house, Pisces energy. So could have been something, quite public. It could be known, whatever you went through, whatever setback you might have gone through, whatever ending you might have gone through. For one, it might have been public, and it might have led to a change of status. So it could have been a sudden ending of a relationship. And it could have just been you broke ties with this person, or vice versa. They might have broken off ties with you. But the main vibe that I'm getting here is that there was a love offer made and it was shot down. That's the first thing that comes to my mind with this setup here. So whether that was them making an offer to you or vice versa, we'll see a little bit more about that as we go along in the spread. But that's really what I'm getting there. And like I said, it could just be pointing to the timeline as well, which was the Pisces energy, or possibly even, like I was saying, you just had that full moon in your 5th house, so that could have led to some endings for relationships for some of you. That's definitely a possibility. But either way you want to break that down, the good thing is in the present position we have the 9 of Cups. So again, similar to how I was saying the 6 of Wands is seen as a card of victory to an extent, so is this 9 of Cups. It's often referred to as the wish card. And the main way I see this is usually, on the positive side anyway, it's getting to that point of having a healthy self-worth, knowing what you bring to the table, right? Like, okay, this is what I bring to the table. I know my worth. I'm not going to go chasing after something. I'm going to let it come to me, right? So that could be the energy the person's in there. The only thing I warn people of is just to be a little bit cautionary, is to say that, all right, if we look at his facial expression, he looks a little bit smug too, and then he has that closed off body language. So, just try not to be too cocky about it, let's say, right? If you really are feeling good about yourself, that's great. But, if you come off a little bit too brash, that might actually turn some people away. And that's fine if that's what you want, but keep in mind that could also turn away some people that you didn't want to have that effect on. So, something to keep in mind with that. All right, in the near future position, we have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the 9 of Pentacles. So this is 2 Virgo cards right here. Virgo representing your 4th house, so this could be related to your home. Maybe you're beautifying your home, maybe you're moving to a new home, especially with the Knight energy and then that 9 of Pentacles. If that's the case, it looks like it would be something that you're actually pretty pleased with. So it does look like it'd be very much a move by choice and a move that you'd be happy with once you do make it. Another way this could obviously be playing out too is to say that possibly a Virgo might be making an offer to you, and that might, like, let's say this represents your energy or possibly even theirs, saying that there's some kind of offer made to pair up. So whether you want to say that this is you in that single person energy or the Virgo in that single person energy, it looks like there's definitely some kind of an offer being made. And it could even possibly be this person from the past as well, just taking on a different energy, right? Maybe they tried one approach with you. Maybe they came along and just tried to be, let's just say, a little bit flirty, and maybe you weren't sure where they were coming from, like, okay, what are they trying to get here? Are they, like, trying to advance towards me? Are they just flirting? Do they actually want something solid, right? So maybe you shot them down, and maybe that's where that tower energy comes into play. Like, they weren't expecting that necessarily, and now they come back around with something more tangible to let you know that they're serious, right? And again, it could be the other way around as well. Maybe if that was the energy you were in the past got shot down, maybe you're deciding to advance. But with these two cards here, I'm really feeling that this is more someone coming toward you, quite frankly, because it looks like you're pretty content with your situation right now. Or even if not content, maybe you appear that way, but maybe it's just because you're doing a lot of reflection right now and really trying to look at, okay, what should I focus on here, right? Little Gemini duality for you. But in the position of your influence on the situation, speaking of duality, it doesn't get much crazier than this. You guys got the Fool and you got the Hangman. So these are about as much of an opposite energy as you could have, which is funny too, because I was just saying a lot of opposition energy, actually, if we think about it, because I was saying we have the beneath the Hierophant, we have Cancer, Capricorn. That's one opposition. Here, technically, we have Pisces, Virgo. So you really could be on the fence about something, and maybe in multiple areas of life at that. So maybe all those crazy retrogrades and everything threw you for more of a loop than maybe you expected. But the main play that I'm getting here, though, is to say that this is probably you making up your mind that you're ready to make a leap in a new direction, but you're just trying to figure out the timing of it, Because maybe because you've done all that contemplation, you come out of it like, okay, now I know what I want to do, what I need to do, but you're just still trying to intellectualize it and say, all right, when's the right timing to make this move, or how should I make this move, right? So it could just be evaluating what your move is going to be. That's the primary vibe that I'm getting there. I really feel that it is you're ready, but you're just trying to figure out the right timing to make that move. Rather than to say one part of you is ready to make a move and everyone's totally not. I do feel that you're in harmony there to an extent, but you're just really trying to make sure. So it's almost like a tempered Fool energy, put it that way, as opposed to just blindly leaping. You're like, okay, I'm ready for this new start. I'm ready to move in this new direction. I'm committed to moving in this new direction, but let me make sure I have my ducks in a row before I do it, right? So it's still being open to change, but trying to do it in a measured way, rather than just waking up one morning and say, you know what, I feel like doing this totally different thing for, out of the blue, and then just going full throttle towards it. And, that's fine too, because you guys are going to have Mercury's going to be coming into your sign right around the time that the sun lands in your sign. And we do see that sun energy behind you too. So that could really help you out there with those two, the sun and Mercury arriving together in your sign. And, really pretty much the Pisces energy is done by now. But I was going to say, even the 12th house stuff, with the sun and Mercury both moving into your sign, that means that would be the end of the 12th house energy there. And I think Venus will still be lingering a bit in your 12th house, probably through the rest of May. Let me look at that real quick, actually. Yeah, so it won't be until June when Venus gets into your sign, but that's primarily the vibe that I'm getting there. It's like, all right, When that 12th house energy starts to dissipate a bit more, you're going to start to really get your sense of direction and be ready to make that leap. All right, in the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the moon and two of cups. So, going back to what we were talking about back here and combining that with the moon energy, the main feeling I'm getting with those two cards is that this almost reiterates to me my first thought, which was that maybe someone came towards you with an offer and, maybe you weren't sure what to think of it. They weren't exactly clear, or possibly even you came towards them with an offer, and whatever the case may be, the offer in the past did not go off well, put it that way. Whoever made it, if it was them towards you or vice versa, did not seem to work out very well. So now someone might come forward with something more tangible. But to you, especially with that tower energy, the past offer might have just gone so terribly that you might have never thought that there'd be another offer, right? So I'm really feeling like for the vast majority of you, like I said, especially with these two cards here, this is someone making an offer to you. Just because this is the environment position doesn't always mean that this is someone else towards you. It could just mean the energies at play give you the impetus to make a move like this as well. But I'm really feeling for the vast majority of you, this is someone coming toward you, and you just might not know what to think of it. Because like I said, the ending in the past might have just seemed so catastrophic, you would have thought that there was finality to it. But, especially if that happened during Pisces season with the retrogrades, then yeah, usually things that end during those times aren't necessarily final. You usually get a feel. You usually know, like, okay, like, yes, that's definitely meant to end. Usually it's something that if it was lingering and it was a little shaky before and you end it during a retrograde, usually that's a good thing. But if it's something that seems to come more out of the blue, like a tower moment on the other hand, then yeah, usually that could come back around because usually there's some misunderstanding behind it, so on and so forth. But this is more Cancer energy too. This is a Cancer card. I mean, the moon is the ruler of Cancer too, so this could definitely just be pointing to what I was saying earlier too, that for a lot of you, the shift, like if both of these nights are you, shifting from focusing more on romance to now you're focusing more on money. That could honestly be what it is. And then actually, on top of that, this represents the first 10 degrees of Cancer, and Mars is going to be moving into Cancer around the middle of May. So that could be what that's pointing to as well. And maybe that gives you some clarity around what your next move should be. So again, going back to what we were saying there with the Fool energy and the Hangman, where you're like, you want to make a move, but you're just trying to figure out the right time. Maybe when when Mars moves into Cancer, into your second house, that lights up that area of life for you in that way and gives you the impetus to make some moves there. So that could be what that is too. But yeah, definitely trust me. For some of you, this is definitely some love offers being made. And with the Justice card at the bottom of the deck, keep that in mind. So if there was an imbalance there, for example, if you were the one putting in the heavy lifting in the past, now the other person's probably going to come in to balance the scales in that regard. Or if it's the other way around, if they were the one putting in all the work and you weren't really putting anything towards it, then this energy at the bottom of the deck is going to be asking for you to balance the scales. So you guys will know which way that'll play out for you. It's going to be different for all of you, I'm sure. In the hopes and fears position, got a lot of cards here too. We got the Hermit, the Sun, and the Four of Swords. So, if these two cards here, the Hermit and the Four of Swords, point to the introspection, which, like I said, with the initial energy we had there, I got that vibe that you're really reevaluating stuff. Since it pointed to me anyway as like pointing out the Taurus energy, which is your 12th house. And usually when we have a lot of 12th house things going on, there is a lot of introspection. So, you know, Could just be, so this could be playing out a couple ways. If that was a tower moment and you weren't happy with it, this could just be saying that you're hoping for some light to be shed on what exactly the ending was about, right? Like I said, if it was an abrupt ending, you might have been like, what the hell happened there? Um, and that would make sense in that regard because this also, if that's the case, this represents the last 10 degrees of Libra. And to me, then that would point to possibly an abrupt ending happening around the time of that full moon. So the full moon we just had right before the sun moved into Taurus. That could be what that's pointing to. So maybe you're just really, you know, in an introspective move, trying to have some light shed on exactly what went down. And even if it wasn't something that physically played out, but it was more of something that was on your mind, maybe the energy, if you didn't have someone in your life at the time, maybe it had you reevaluating um, how you handle romantic connections, and that's a possibility as well. But this is a Virgo card as well, so more Virgo energy on the table. So this could definitely be maybe a Virgo shedding some light. Maybe they're revealing something to you. Maybe there was some confusion with them, and now they're going to come around and clear that up with you. All right, but regardless how that plays out, the good thing is in the outcome position, you guys have the Ten of Cups. So, I mean, pretty self explanatory there, right? It's a pretty positive card. Um, Interestingly enough, this represents the last 10 degrees of Pisces, and that is where that retrograde did initially kick off. So that could definitely, to me, point to, like I was saying, if this was something from back in the time of Pisces, if not an actual Pisces, right? And it's saying maybe things went off the rails during that time with the retrograde energies, and now finally, everyone clears the air. By the end of the month, you're actually in a much better position. Um, And I think, last month, I believe your message was about luck and fertility as well. So this could just be a continuation of that energy as well, which is to say, maybe there was still some things that needed to be worked out until all of these energies cleared up a bit more. And now that energy that was at play last month, now you actually see it come to fruition in a much more healthy way. Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm getting with that card. Not a whole lot. All right, so looking at the Oracle cards next. The first one you guys got was Thinker. There's the artwork for it and number 44. All right, we'll read that message. Yet another theme of introspection, from the looks of it at least. I don't think I've seen that card very often, so we'll see what it says. It says, strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message, the ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all of the information you need. Keep it simple, and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So that's interesting because the energy here in the beginning definitely made it seem like the energies were really asking you to be in a bit of an introspective mood for a bit. And maybe for a part of the month that is the case, but then maybe as the month moves along, like I said, the stuff starts to come into your sign, then okay, maybe that's really the time to move forward. What I found interesting as I was reading that, it made me think of the moon and the Two of Cups. So what that leads me to think about these two cards is to say, if someone does come back around and they make an offer to you where, they might have given you a cold shoulder in the past, or if you did make an offer to them in the past and they shot you down, if they come back around now, you might view it as shady, like, okay, why are you popping up all of a sudden, like, whatever the case may be. The main vibe I'm getting with these two cards, combined with the message we just read there, is to say, try not to overthink it. Like, it probably is a genuine offer. And that makes sense too, since both cards are in the upright. So, all right, the relationship message says, love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. This is the time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. So, I mean, there's even more about that message, which is to say, don't try to look too deep into things, and especially if you're trying to turn it in a way in your head to make it seem better than what it is, right? So, if someone is showing you that they're not very trustworthy, then okay, maybe you need to ride with that, right? Rather than trying to make excuses for them in your head. Oh, well, they were going through this, they were doing that, right? So maybe that's what that message is trying to point out there. Prosperity message says calculated action is called for now. It is important to sit down and plan a strategy. Focus on the steps you're going to take to claim your prosperous life. Lists are your friend now, so get out your journal. Write down what you're going to do today to signal to the universe that you're serious about attracting abundance. Your plans and strategies will yield wonderful results. Remember, your most effective Remember, your most effective strategic partner is spirit. You will win this game, and your triumph will be for the highest good of all. Kind of like me triumphing through that sentence. All right, so there's that message. And next, you guys got two oracle cards actually that came up from the next deck, so we'll go through these. We'll go one at a time. So the first one you guys got is Otter Spirit. It says you are never alone. There's the artwork for it. It's like two otters hugging each other, it looks like, in the shape of a heart. And 42. So let's see what that has to say. It says, like true friends, otters nurture each other and express their affection through touch. Actions such as holding hands and giving hugs offer reassurance that we are never really alone and that we are always cherished. Otter Spirit has appeared to remind you to experience and express friendship in a tangible and even tactile way. Communicate with your voice, your facial expressions, your gestures, and your actions, letting your love express itself beyond just the words you speak. Otter Spirit's message is that presence matters, so remember to be fully present with those you care about, helping them sense the love and affection and appreciation you have for them. Now is a time for a joyful celebration of the love in your life that expresses as friendship and companionship. Hug someone, touch their arm, or simply look into their eyes with your full attention, saying, I care, you matter. Make time for friendship. Outer Spirit promises that the moment you reach out, you will remember that you too have many who love and care about you. You are never alone, and you are always loved. All right, well, I mean, in a way that's a little bit heavier. It almost makes it sound like for someone who's feeling a bit down on their luck and maybe a little depressed. So if that's your case, then hopefully you got something out of that message in a positive way. All right, and then the next one that you guys got is Bee Spirit, and it says, sweet results await. There's the actual artwork for it and the number 7. So, pretty good number there. Okay. It says, the Bee Spirit's message is that sweet rewards are on their way if you are willing to get your ego out of the way and immerse yourself in the connected energy of all things. Bee Spirit knows not to let a sense of being a separate self get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracles and magic are everywhere. When you connect with the great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in exquisite harmony with all. Bee Spirit asks that your focus be on connectivity. Your body, heart, soul, and psyche experience total interconnectedness and a true integration when you forget self. When you remember that you are part of a greater, unified consciousness. Moving from separation into connection, from self-centered limitation to spirit-centered infinite possibility and potential, you become busy as a bee, enjoying the gifts of bee spirit. Fully in alignment with your highest expression of yourself, your heart opens, and creativity rushes through you seemingly without effort, as you experience that nothing feels like work. Industriousness is driven by enthusiasm and inner motivation, and time seems to fly by quickly as the hive supports you in the making of honey. Do you feel the presence of your helpers in the hidden realms adding their energy to your creations? Magical results are taking form and will be sweeter than you expect. Bee Spirit wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded, even if you can't see that yet, and ask that you share your good fortune as there is plenty of honey for all. Be a part of the larger whole, the force that brings forth all that is sweet and delightful. So yeah, apparently bees have a lot to say. It's probably why they're buzzing all the time. That felt like a 8 hour long message, but hopefully you guys got something out of that too. And finally, we have the Mudra card to wrap things up. So the Mudra that you guys got is the Makara Mudra. And basically, for those of you who don't know, I've been pulling Mudra cards all this year for everyone, and they're basically hand gestures that you make while meditating, and their purpose to help clear up blockages. So sometimes it could even be physical, but other times, it's for mental, emotional blockages. And the key word for this one is fertility, which is interesting because, like I said, I think last month the title of your reading was Luck and Fertility. So this definitely could just be a continuation of what was already going on for you guys last month. But all right, let me just get it focused so you guys can take a screenshot of it or pause it if you wanted to read a bit about it. All right, let me get the rest of it in the shot for you as well. But yeah, benefits, it says improves memory, strengthens the kidneys, helps to relieve low back pain, nourishes the hair, restores energy reserves. So, I would say out of those things, restores energy reserves might be pretty helpful for you guys until the sun comes into your sign, because that, you can feel a little bit drained when there's a lot going on in your 12th house. So, hopefully you guys are getting something from that as well. And I'll put the name of that in the description so you guys could check it out if you're interested in looking into it a bit more. If you guys want to book a personal reading with me as well, you could check out the description for more info on that. If you want to follow me on Instagram, we have a little bit more fun with tarot and astrology there as well. Like I said, happy birthday, and I'll talk to you guys next month. All right, bye.